So with that, Jose, the stage is yours.
Right, thank you, Kai. Let me share my screen. Let me know if you can see it. Good, very
Yes,
nice,
perfect.
very nice. So again, happy to be here with you. Um, Also, if you want to show me your faces, I like to see people I'm talking to, so that would be great. Feel free as well to interrupt me if you have questions. You can write them in the chat if you're shy. No problem at all. My name is Jose. I'm a software engineer working at Swiss Life in Zurich, Switzerland. I work for insurance company, Swiss Life, and I also have a side hobby, which is I contribute to the Microsoft Agent frameworks, like Microsoft Agent framework. It has that exact name. Funnily, I contributed to semantic kernel, to AutoGen, and now to MAF, Math for Friends. And I also do some LinkedIn learning courses, which you can check in my LinkedIn. I will share my LinkedIn link later, or you can search for my name, Jose Luis Latorre, and you will probably find me very easily. This December, I had a bit of a challenge. I was having some extra time, and as a software engineer, you know, I guess you feel you do the same. You create things if you have free time, right? Um, and I started creating an application to do a couple of things, and it was doing not what I wanted. So I decided, okay, I will test it. I will verify what is happening and start creating what is the core of AgentEval. And it worked well. I like it. And then I put aside what I was implementing and started focusing more on AgentEval. And this is the result of 2 to 3 months of work aside. All right. So AgentEval, it's a .NET evaluation toolkit for AI agents. It's open source. This is the documentation site, agenteval.dev, and you can find it in NuGet packages. At the moment, it's supporting uh, Microsoft Agent Framework 0.6. I see you're saying a couple of things. Oh, okay. Oh, the Azure Samurai blog, don't delete that. It's I haven't published that anything there since 2001, so 2021. So it's pretty obsolete. Um, yeah, so the main goal of AgentEval is to tackle the greatest problem for LLMs, which anybody in the audience knows what it is? Anybody? Do you do, you play with agents, you do some agentic applications? Yeah. So you have faced that sometimes you give the same input and of the same data, right? Data, and you get a different output, right? Or not exactly the same. So yeah, it's AI non-determined. So you give it the same prompt, you give it the same input, and then you get one day one thing, another time you get a different thing, and yeah, you say what the heck, right? As a software engineer, you like exact things, and these things are nothing but not exact at all. So for example, what makes a good summary? You put a format, you want a proper formatting, the right sections, no sensitive data, of course, because you like to buy the law, and we have something here called the EU AI Act. You want proper context, that the summary is correct and it did not made up facts, that matches the source and nothing important is missing, and the quality. Is it good to read? It's clear, smooth, follows the rules. Uh, Sounds like AI is not. Probably it will if you don't do some reviews, right? And of course, there is also one paper, there's a paper for everything, which says that models will hallucinate. The better the model, the more it will hallucinate, basically. This is the kind of summary of this paper of why language models hallucinate from September 25. All right, so did it ever happen to you that the AI agent was great in the demo, but then you put it in real, you just try it, and then, yeah. How do you know that your agents will work in production? Eh, Well, I ask on LinkedIn a lot of people. I also ask in the past MVP summit. So I was there like 2-3 weeks ago, and I asked the people, and more or less it matches these numbers. Like 40% of the people do manual testing. They do eyeballing. I looked at it works. It looked good. Then I deployed to production, which, well, interesting. Some people do custom scripts, some framework, but that's the minority, 23%. And some other use very good tools, Python tools that we have plenty, like AgentEval, PromFu, etc. And another 20% don't do anything. Do you deploy to agentic applications, Artur, Rafael, or Robert, Andreas? Do you? Anybody? Yeah. What do you
Yeah,
do? Do you
so
test?
I'm not yet in that state to really roll it out, but I'm working with Power Automate and some AI prompting inside it. But yeah, it's for certain things it's hard to test it, or
Yeah.
because as you mentioned, it's always different, or the result might look different, and it's difficult also to find test cases to simulate it in a correct way.
Yeah, I completely agree. Okay, so there's some things that we can use already, right? And they're having in the market like RAGAS for RAG, AgentEval for evaluating AI agents, Inspect AI, PromFu for prompts, or any LLM endpoint, Giscard. There are a lot, but in .NET there was nothing. I like .NET, so I created this thingy called AgentEval. It's basically for evaluating .NET agents. And I was focused initially on what is needed, right? To provide some quality metrics, tool chain validation, security testing. Yes, it has that. Statistical rigor, because I like statistics a bit, and I think they are important. And just testing one thing which is completely undeterministic once does not bring any value. Also, I want to compare models and do some trace recording, so later on I can check what happened. So to provide something like that, I execute the same test 100 times, and then I see that I have an 80% pass rate. That would give me the trust that, okay, this will work 80%, which is not great, but it's a reality. If you don't test these, you don't basically know. A lot of people test a lot of prompts once every week or 2 weeks to see how it works. For example, what Microsoft Foundry allows at the moment, the evals, is exactly that. I also like Fluent APIs. I don't know how many of you are developers? I'm a developer, 2, 3, yeah. Do you work with .NET or no? What I like is what is called a Fluent API. For those that don't know, is when you can read it. It has a meta chaining on the syntax, and you can read it like natural language. So I can read result tool usage should have called search flight before tool book flight with argument destination Paris, because it's a concrete test. And I'm going to mute one thing, now it's muted, and never call tool, delete all customers, and should have no errors, right? You can read that and you understand it. You don't have to do a master to understand this sentence. This is a Fluent API, and this is the real code, which I will show you in a moment. Do you like it? Yeah. Just to be on the safe page, AgentEval, I started like a coding framework, so it's integrated in coding, but it's supporting. I also started implementing that only for the Microsoft Agent framework. But before you cut the call, now it supports its base instead in Microsoft Extensions for AI, which supports any OpenAI compatible endpoint. So that means you give me an endpoint where your model or agent is deployed, it can talk to it, get the results. Of course, you don't have integration with code if the code is not in .NET, but you can make almost basically everything that you can do in the code with this endpoint. Make sense? Good. So I implemented, of course, LLM as a judge. No eval framework is an eval framework without LLM as a judge. There are some eval frameworks like the Microsoft Foundry that are based only in LLM as a judge, mostly. So it's a criteria-based quality scoring with some explanations per criterion. And in my case, I added some improvement suggestions, right? And I can add also some root facts to it. I added as well red teaming security scanning, which some of the existing frameworks provide only when you pay the premium packages. This is everything open source, included for free. It supports OWASP top 10. 6 out of 10 of the attacks are supported. The other 4 are quite complex, so it's something I will do more in advance, but supports checking for prompt injection, jailbreak, PII leakage, insecure output, excessive agency. That means it can do too much more than it's expected or it's supposed to, system prompt extraction, and 3 more. 9 different categories of attacks in total, right? And they also support proper syntax, which I think it's cool. Yeah, I think it's time to see some code, right? Meanwhile, there are some messages. Hello, everyone. 6 to 7 from Fernando. Fernando, what do you mean? Speaker asked to have the CAD cams. Yes, thanks. What's the difference between a data agent versus Fabric MCP server, for example? Yeah, MCP is Model Context Protocol. For those that don't know, it's a way to add tools to an agent or to a model, right? And it's a standard. So you can run an MCP locally in your machine or connect to a server. And yeah, then an agent is simply an agent that can use MCP, right? So it's kind of yeah, different complete thing. So basically, an agent can use an MCP, and an MCP simply is usually a set of tools that the agent can use. Of course, you can put an agent inside, and it is phased like a tool. So you can do that as well. Make sense, Fernando?
Yes, thank you.
Cool. So let's see some code. If I can find my IDE, yes. So here I have AgentEval. By the way, if you're curious, where did I put it? Yes, it's in github.com, AgentEval, HQ/AgentEval. I can copy and paste that. I created some documentation site, which I think is not bad and quite complete. I even added quite a lot of things and includes as well a reference of the API. So I think it's pretty cool, the documentation. I think did not add it. No. But in the code, there are the ADRs, the architecture decision records that I've been taking. So let's go back to the code because that's what I wanted to show you. I will start with the NuGet consumer. Say the start a project. I'll open it. I'll go to the demos. Is this good enough? Do you see it well? Yes, good. So the complete example, what I do is I create a travel agent, right? So I create a travel booking agent, which has the tools search flights, book flights, and confirmation, get user confirmation, and cancel booking, right? It's a very simple agent. And then I create a evaluator chat client to evaluate this and create a evaluation harness. This simple is to capture the events of the agent, right? I can do a lot more detailed analysis on agents if I execute them through code, thanks to this, because this I get all the timings and everything which happens, all the events, I capture them. And I create a test case. Oops. Can you see my screen? Because somebody shared something, I think you lost me. Fernando. All right, can you see back my screen? Yes, good. So we created this case and I give a name, some input, right, that will run, some expectations that I can run that these tools should be expected to, and then evaluation criteria, which all of these will run like a LLM as a charge. Bear in mind this one, because this one is the most trickiest one. Response show price consideration under 800 requirement, which a lot of times is not achieved. And I give it a passing score of 80 and a ground truth for assessing a bit of there was hallucination or not, right? Then I give some options. I want to track tools, track performance, evaluate response. I want it in verbose mode, and I give it the model because I want to analyze the cost of the model. And then I execute, I run the evaluation in streaming mode, and then I simply capture some events and print on the screen. You will see that in a moment. And finally, I get the result object. Once I do that, I want to show you the result object, because based on this object is where the API runs, and I can do all the magic stuff with the Fluent API, which here I'm simply printing, but a bit more to the front. If I have tool usage, then I can do this that I show you in the slide. Tool usage should have call tool search flight with argument whatever, and have call tool book flight after tool search flight, and have call order first search flight, then book flight, and then send confirmation, and then have no errors, which I know this is not the data context you are used to, but in a data context, you could have a data manager agent, right? And then it could be, hey, search the record, then update the record, and then verify that the record has been updated. Make sense? And you could have to check your data manager agent that is doing the right thing. I hope this puts everything in context a bit more. I can check the performance. I can check the total duration, estimated cost, have token count under whatever. I can even do that per tool. I think I do that afterwards, or, well, let's run it. And I'm going to move that here, and I will put to real mode, right? And I will run the example I show you, the complete example. And I create the agent, I create the evaluator chat client. Now is already executing, doing here, well, too fast, the streaming. That was pretty fast. Yep. All right. And then I get some core results because it's a mod verbose. It had no errors. Let me show you the result object, right? So you can see the criteria results is the LLM as a charge. So let's take a look at one. And the output is, say that the flight is Tokyo. Yes. So this is a pass, right? So I'm showing you exactly what it goes in the code. I get the performance, perfect, tool call count, total. Okay. So the performance goes even to the tool calls, and I can see if there is any tool. A tool could be an MCP that is a bottleneck or not, right? Yeah, I'm going to go a bit below. I don't have a team in this case. I have two suggestions. If my mouse skills, one is include a statement confirming that the book flight meets under $800 because it was not added. Optionally specify that the actual ticket price is whatever. So it gets you some insights on how to improve your agent. Yeah, total call, tool usage. Here is where I have the tools, the calls, and I can see that I have a start time and time, duration. So I have everything. So basically what I'm writing here in the result object is a time traveling machine. So I'm saving all the traces, what happens, when it happens, and everything I want to consult afterwards. I think it's pretty cool. So if I keep executing, I get the suggestions, I get 2, I will print them on screen. Let me take this out. And there we go. We get LLM such what I show you. Then was one small thing, right? That is the one I told you. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it does not. So it's one example on how LLMs are non-deterministic. So it could be, for example, if you are assessing or you have an agent that is assessing something in your data, and sometimes it fails, sometimes it works. With this, you can check what is happening. You can check the performance metrics at even time to first token if you are streaming only, the estimated cost of the test we did, which if we met sometime, you can pay me a coffee. That would be great. I love coffee. And the individual tool calls and the time it happened, right? So we can see that the search flies took 33 milliseconds, which compared to the others, it's, wow, quite a difference. So maybe we should check the performance of the search flight. Even it's fast, if the others happen at 1 millisecond, well, and that's it. You get a lot of information of what your agent is doing, what is not doing, and also how to improve it. What do you think? Is it cool?
Yeah, I think that's awesome. This is very helpful for a lot of things. I mean, it also gives you hints what you can improve. That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Then you can see some behavioral policies, but I don't think you want to see that. And then stochastical model comparison, which a lot of people like it. So let's run it. What I'm doing here, don't need to see the performance, is test case very simple, which is just 25 times 4, right? I put an expected output contains 100. I want to run it 3 times, right? And yeah, max parallelism 1, so I want to run one after the other, and with some delay between the runs. That's it, to not overload Azure Microsoft Foundry. All right, then I create the factories for this, and I get the model results, and then I simply create a stochastic runner that runs it, and finally I get the results. Let's do this. So it's calling 3 times in this case. I could call it 100 times, but I would keep you waiting. And now I got the model results, so I get and add them to the model results. And now I'm trying different models. Here, what I'm doing is not just doing stochastic, but I'm doing multimodal and stochastic. So I added 2 models and I ran it 3 times. And then this is what I get, basically. So let me go here. So I try GPT-5 chat, GPT-4o mini in this case, and the pass is 100 and the score is 100. Yeah, the variability in duration in these 3 times is like 35%, 36, and the token variance is just a little teeny bit, and the cost is, GPT-4o mini is has a cost variability here, which is 8.7, which is curious. So that's it. I could, at the moment, I'm not printing here the results of these, or I could check it, but I can also make it that it prints and shows. I should adapt this demo for that it shows which is the recommended model based on the score. So I can tell, hey, you should use this model. Maybe it happens only on or when you test the models, but I wanted to show both modes completed, right? So you can do and expand a lot of tokens here if you're not careful. Let me quit that. So why is this useful? If anybody listen or saw the first part, here you can run it 100 times and see if your agent will consistently work well 100 times out of 100, which I think it's pretty good. Anybody here is also implementing workflows or agentic workflows?
And experimenting with it, I would say.
Let me show you something. I'm going to swap to the samples. So here I'm running the experimental code, which I'm checking it now, set as start a project. And I'm going to run, not memory evaluation, workflows and conversations. I'm going to run workflow with tools. So I'm creating a tree planner workflow, right? Let me this. Let me show what is on there. I'm creating a trip planner that has a tool, get info, and flight agent, well, hotel agent, etc., etc., etc. Right? And I mount a workflow, which is kind of sequential. So it goes from trip planner to flight binding, then to hotel binding, then to presenter binding. These are executors, right? So I can show one of them because probably you are not familiar with Microsoft Agent Framework. So I can, let's go to the trip planner. Trip planner in this executor. Go to implementation. Okay. Yeah, it's basically the agent in this case. So I'm simply adding the agents as is. So let me run this and show it because so I'm going to see workflows and then I will run 3 workflows and tools. So here is how the workflow is progressing. I'm also wrapping all the events. At the end, a workflow is it's a graph, right, with nodes and edges, and I'm also validating everything on the workflow. Maybe it's hitting a breakpoint, or maybe something did not work. Okay, it must book hotel, so something did not work here, right, which can pretty well happen. So it failed because it must book hotels. Book hotel to be called in a workflow, but it was not. So it did not call the tools that it should, right? So we could go and check it again, or we could simply run it again as well. Let me go to workflow with tools.
If it doesn't work again, don't worry about it. I mean, they never show code in production, basically. It's, and demos, that's always demos coming in here. Or that's, yeah, exactly.
Yes, it's good. And then
And
I go
I believe
to
you,
one of the check.
you can do it. That's I think that's the most important point. And it's really interesting to follow, yes.
I'm picky because it was working. I basically updated, so the code you're seeing here is already updated to Microsoft Agent Framework 1.1, which is the general availability version. Yes, test case is created. Let me go on. And then I want to go here, workflow test fail, which is probably the case. So I changed completely all the implementations of how the workflows are handled because these change completely. Oh, now it worked. I wanted to see the issue, but now it worked kind of. Oh, it's still working. So it search the flights, book the flight, book the hotel. Yes. So. Oh, come on. Why are you stop? All right. So has error, 5 calls passed. I wonder, oh yeah, now I have this. I think this is interesting because I tell that it should have 4 steps. It should have executed in order the trip planner, the flight reservation, auto reservation, and presenter have completed from 5 minutes because it's time reasonable and have no errors and validate. Then I can check that for executors. Executors are the nodes that contain agents and check that the tool call at this level. I can also check that the tool should have called before another and the tool should have no errors. And I can check as well the graph structure of the workflow, that it has nodes that have an entry point, that it has traversed the edges, flight reservation and auto reservation, and use the edge type sequential, because this is what we are doing. And I can also tell, hey, this is the execution path that this should be following. Just saying this is sequential, it could be a lot more complex, so you can provide what execution path you believe it should work and verify that the execution follows it. So it's pretty advanced. It's kind of, you have a business workflow, you give it a problem, and at the end you can see the traverse of the graph and what agent was called, what tools they call, and if they were successful. And going back here, you can present it. I can see even the kind of a timeline presentation, and yep, that's it. I think it was even good that it got some errors, and that's just some samples of what I have here. If you want, there's like different categories. There's safety and security, performance. There is a red teaming module as well. So red team basics to run some security assessment of if anybody can hijack your agent. And almost all of these features you can run through a client. So let me see. This, which I show you, is the component that you can use in .NET. But here I implemented another thing, which is AgentEval.clean, which you can run in any command line, even in a CI pipeline. And you can use it, for example, to access your endpoint or a HTTP or HTTPS endpoint and call your agent, whatever it is and whatever technology you have on it. So what do you think? Is it cool? Do you like it?
That's definitely cool, definitely. Just a question. Have you actually compared this against other frameworks like Python frameworks that do the same?
Yes.
I mean, also in performance.
Yes, I do. I have a internal competition list and I have assessed all of them. In fact, I'm inspiring a lot of them to create this, and I took the best of them. Yes, this is quite performant. Of course, at the end, you depend on the performance of the of what you are attacking to, so that's the limitation. But this is running .NET code, which is, I would say, quite fast.
Okay, good.
To add a bit in details, at the moment I'm running things sequential. I'm thinking that maybe there could be something that could explore parallelism or improve that. So that's one of the improvement points. But you have also to be careful, right? Because otherwise you can be considered an attack vector, because we are basically doing a distributed DDoS attack, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I just will want to stop the recording right now so we can go over to the networking part.
Good, perfect.